It'll pop up here.
How many people have joined so far on Facebook?
We've got within the group,
Yeah.
we have 1,400, 1,400.
No, really?
I don't believe that.
Yeah, within this group?
But that's going to be on tonight.
No, the people who are watching your masterclass.
Oh, so we've had so what happened? So we've got 1,400 people within the group, but then we may do we may get say I think today we had 77 or 78 people watching at today's master class. The coaches corner here in the evening. So we have a smaller turnout. I think it's just because it's evening at 7:00 on the East Coast. People are whatever doing dinner or whatever. So I get it. But I really like the coaches corner because I get to introduce everybody to people like you all and different students and stuff. So what happened to my fancy little display went away? What up? That's weird.
He's a character.
There we go. I got to look at this. Isn't that a beautiful graphic?
Yes.
Gorgeous.
I love the color combination.
Yeah. Coach's corner. Yes. It looks like Pepto-Bismol going into the Gulf of Mexico. I just now noticed that.
It does. It's exactly what it looks like.
Yeah.
Into that blueberry something or other.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So so what you're going to find is that so we'll start here in just a minute. We let people give them a little bit of time to kind of jump on board here. Sometimes with technology as it is, it takes a little bit for people to be able to click the link and find us on Facebook. But anyway, so we'll get started here in a second. So what happened today, Meredith, was this morning I got a call from a seller that had received one of my postcards. I did a couple of weeks ago. I showed how to do a direct mail campaign, a very small one. I did over 90 in Harris County, which is Houston, Texas. Right. So I did a very small campaign. They're just showing people how to do direct mail. I sent that off, and I started getting calls as soon as it hit. And today, another seller called, and this one seems very, very like there's no reason he shouldn't want to do a lease option. The house has been on the market next month. The listing expires next month. The house has been vacant. They moved out 5 months ago. He lives in Virginia now.
Right.
And the house in Houston, vacant. They dropped the price from $510,000 to $450,000. And then he gets my magical postcard that says, "Hey, I can get you full price."
Right. Awesome.
So what I did is today on the masterclass, I
wait, John, people are saying no sound. So
Chuck, can you hear me?
You're seeing something, Meredith? I don't see anything.
I do. I see all the Facebook users.
I don't see anybody.
You're seeing something, Meredith? I don't see anything.
That's weird.
How did you do that?
Yeah, I can hear you all and me.
Well, someone says they can hear it, so that's good.
Yeah, George says no sound, but I can hear. I'm listening to myself on my phone. I can hear this fine.
Someone else said sound is good for them too, so I think we're good.
Yeah, so I'm going to mute that so we don't get feedback.
Right.
So anyways, what I did today on the masterclass is I showed everybody, okay, here's a real deal. And I showed them, here's the house, here's what it looks like, here it is on PropStream and Zillow and all that. And I showed them email number 1 and then email number 2. So I sent that to the seller today. It was about 5 hours ago. So I'm going to call him now. And I'm not going to call him now. I'm going to talk to you all first, then I'll call him. So, all right. So let's get going here. I know more and more people will come on board here. So welcome everybody to day 2 of the Coach's Corner of the Lease Option Masterclass. today was super exciting. I was just explaining to Meredith, kind of getting her caught up on what had taken place today, where we had a seller that had called me about a marketing campaign I did. And so today on the masterclass, I showed that house. I showed email number 1, email number 2, the seller price sheet, and sent that off to the seller. Here in just a little bit, I'm going to call that seller back, and you'll get to hear that conversation, how that goes. But before we do that, I've got two beautiful young ladies, such just incredible human beings that I was going to have on here, but they couldn't make it. So,
Okay, John. Okay.
So no, I've got two just amazing. I just absolutely
The replacements.
the replacement, the backup.
Right.
I got the backup dancers here.
Hey, Lady Gaga was backup at one time.
Yeah,
So-
and so is Jennifer Lopez. So the question is, are you Gaga or Lopez, Teresa?
I'll take either one.
I was going to say, I'll take either one too.
But I absolutely, as you can tell, I absolutely totally adore and cherish our dream partners. And so Coach's Corner is where we get to bring on a couple of different dream partners, and there's no agenda, no script or anything. It's just me asking them a couple of questions. They'll kind of talk about their experience and answer. And of course, they can answer some of your questions as well. You put them in Facebook there. So we've got. I'll start with the. Oh, can you hear?
No.
So we'll start with Meredith here. Meredith is waving at the camera. I guess she realizes she has a fan club now on Facebook. Which, by the way, guys, any guys now watching this, Meredith is off the market. All right, she is officially married. So
Officially last week.
that's just last week. As soon as her fiance got that life insurance policy, she said, "I guess I'll marry you now." So let's start with you, Meredith. So first of all, Meredith, I'm going to throw out just a couple of questions so people kind of get to know you. First of all, where are you from, and what is your kind of experience with real estate in the past? I know you've worked underneath different people and stuff. So where are you from, and kind of what's your experience with real estate in the past?
Sure. So I am from New Jersey. That's where I live. And my experience with real estate started in 2004 when I became a realtor. And I had just sold a business. I had no idea what to do in my life. And I saw a white girt building on the corner near where I lived. And I said, I'm going to go in and become a realtor. And that's what I did. So from 2004 to present, I have been a realtor and entered the space of investing in 2008. And that's when I started flipping.
So in 2008, so you became an agent in 2004. And what drew you to make that transition from being an agent, where I assume you were a typical agent, lists, selling houses, this and that. What made the transition from that into wanting to flip a house into the investment frame or the mind frame?
Quite honestly, I did not like being an agent. That's quite sincere. And I needed to do something, take my experience with agency and translate it to something else. And that something else became investments. That's why I went into it. And also there was some real estate company that was advertising a seminar not far from where I lived. And I said, I'm going to jump on that and see what it's all about. And that's where it all started with that company.
So you started, and feel free, you can say the name of the company.
It doesn't exist anymore.
Oh, well, there you go. Would we know it if you said it, or was it just a small little company, or?
No, it was a big company. It was Real Estate Wealth, I believe. And literally we traveled throughout the United States. And it was amazing. And that's where I actually started flipping in Indianapolis, Indiana. because one of the seminars was in Indiana. And that's where it all started because of that.
Okay. So you went right into flipping, not wholesaling or anything else. You went right into flipping.
Flipping. Actually rehabbing
Hmm.
and then flipping.
Okay. Yeah. So rehab and then flip the property.
Correct.
And how long were you rehabbing and flipping before you brought on another niche or another avenue of real estate?
My next niche was short sales, and I did that for about 6 years. And that was a tough one. I decided that was too much and overbearing after 6 years, and went right back into the flipping.
Yeah. Did yeah, so short sales is something where, and I'm gonna see if I can change our screens here. That might be a little.
That's better.
There we go. I was like, wait a minute, why am I? That'll help a little bit. Um, so short sales, you got to work with a bank, a mortgage company. It takes a lot of time. The short sales are not fast. So what I tell people is that as the market softens, as the market weakens, there's three strategies you're going to hear more and more about. You're going to hear about subject to, you're going to hear about short sales, you're going to hear about lease options, because all three are vital in a soft or weakening market. With subject to, you better have cash reserves and know what you're doing. With short sales, you better have time and patience.
For sure.
Fortunately, with lease options, you don't need cash or you only need patience if you're working with me, I guess. But so we did a short sale this summer in Houston, and it was my first one I had ever done, and it was just a long, drawn out blah, blah, blah thing.
Yeah.
So you did some short sales for a while. Decided, wow, this is not for me, and
Well, it was just time to
yeah,
transition out of
yeah.
it and go and do something else.
Uh, and so then, what was that something else?
I went back to rehabbing, and then I went into lease options. And the lease options brought me to subject twos, and that's pretty much where I am right now in trying to expand on the lease options and hopefully subject twos as well.
Yeah, and that brings up a really good point. Is that with the dream partners? Um, yes, our specialty is lease options, but more and more as this market is weakening and dream partners are doing their marketing, the leads are coming in. And your job, one of your jobs as an investor, is to know what bucket they go into. And you don't always know what bucket they go into until you have a conversation with the seller and see what their pain, what their needs are, what their pain is. And so if you get a lead, or if any of the dream partners get a lead that is not a lease option, this is sign language for lease option, I guess. I don't know why I'm doing that. If it doesn't fit in the box of a lease option, then Joe, the coach, will oftentimes have them reach out to me because we do subject twos, we do seller finance. As a matter of fact, tomorrow I'm actually doing some video recording over at the attorney's office that helps us with a lot of the subject to and seller finance. So even though as you do the marketing, you bring the leads in, no matter what the lead is, let's take a look at it and see what we can do with it. So we definitely, so as you know, Meredith, I'm here for in any way, any capacity if you have a potential subject to that comes up or seller finance, if the seller will sell on terms, we can certainly walk through that. I can definitely help you with that. Do you have something right now that might be a subject to?
No,
Okay.
I actually just sold a subject to in August that I
Oh, I
had
think
been.
you mentioned that.
Remember,
Yeah.
I told you that I have held on to it for 2 years, 2.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Originally, I lease optioned it out to a tenant who made a decision not to purchase, and which was a mistake. Which I told them. I said, "Well, listen, if you'd be smart, you would purchase this property and flip it out and make more money on it. And they said, nah, we're not going to do that. So they forgot they were losing
Mhm. Wow.
$18,000
Yeah.
Mhm.
and asked me for it. And I went, no, because that's not the way it goes.
Mhm.
And instead, I turned around, I rehabbed the property and made a huge chunk of change as a result of them backing out, which they could
Yeah.
have made, but they didn't.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No. Okay. Well, and that's such as the mindset of some people, you know.
Exactly.
Um, so now I'm going to go to you, Teresa, and I'll come back to you here in just a second, Meredith. So Teresa, tell everybody where you're from, and then also where you're from and what your experience has been in the past with real estate, as far as what you've done with real estate. Yeah.
Okay, I'm from Maryland by way of New York. I'm a native New Yorker, and probably always will be at heart. Um, I've been in education my entire career, and in 2014, while I was still an administrator, I got a postcard in the mail to just go and listen to this real estate promotion. I went, it was exciting. I went to the 3 day, and then I bought the program. I was trained to do fix and flip virtually. I would never recommend that to anyone who is brand new because pretty much lost our shirt. Also taken advantage of by contractors in
Mhm.
many different states. When you're not there, or you don't have a strong team because you haven't built that up, it's very difficult to control the operation. So after that, I can't even begin to think about how much money I've spent on real estate courses with gurus and everything like that, and just never was able to really click. So then I decided I need to do wholesaling where I have less financial risk. And getting into that late, everything in the market is changing where people are really asking for so much money that they're not going to take a low ball offer. And I can't afford to compete with people who are experienced wholesalers. So then I figured, well, I need to have something in my tool chest other than just wholesaling. So I was starting to take a course in transactioneering, which will give you lease options subject to seller financing, just learning a little bit about that. I went into and I bought Joe McCall's Simple Lease Option course and learned a lot about that. His specialty is sandwich lease, which still puts me at financial risk if the tenant doesn't pay or I can't get a tenant in there. So I was hemming and hawing. I've been following you, John, for about 2 or 3 years. Bit the bullet, took your 5 day challenge, your masterclass, was really impressed with how much information I got in such a short amount of time that even though at the point it was really a struggle financially to do the dream partners, I figured I've wasted so much money in the past that this sounded like the real deal. And the thing I can say to everyone is I've been involved in a lot of courses where I've paid money for coaching, and there is no coaching like your program. There, you don't get the one on one. You don't get the coach available to you whenever you need a question asked. You don't get the hand holding, but the kick in the butt at the same time. So I mean, it's been like an unbelievable experience, and to at this point have the possibility of closing my first deal in
Yeah.
like 3 years that I've been doing other things.
Wow.
It's like a blessing, and I'm just so excited that it goes to show you that the level of coaching and expertise is definitely reflected in the success of your students. So thank
Yeah.
you.
Well, thank you very, very much, Teresa. You know, I hear that. I've heard that from similar stories from other people where there's a lady that I'm working with now that I had never asked her about her prior experience with coaching or whatever. And and I asked her. We were on a Zoom coaching call one day, and I happened to ask her, and she told me about how she had spent $40,000 with a national company. Uh,
Mhm.
at the time, Damon John was Damon John was not the coach. These companies like Nudge and these other companies were using celebrities and trim.
Oh, real estate elevated. I was in
Maybe
that
I
too.
don't know what
I was in that too. They got closed down by the Federal Trade Commission.
yeah, the FTC closed them down. So
Yeah.
she said she'd spent 40,000 with them, and she said it was absolutely nothing compared as far as what she got from there. It was
Mhm.
absolutely
Yeah.
nothing compared to
Yeah.
what she gets with in this case with myself as a dream partner
Mhm.
and the
Yeah.
coaching, the support, and everything. So we certainly pride ourselves in going
Yeah.
above and beyond. Well, even just like today, as you had multiple questions about deal that
Yeah.
you're about to close. You're so close to closing it, and it's like a
Yes.
$23,000 deal. You're so close to closing it,
Yeah.
but yet questions, which is totally normal, totally natural.
Mhm.
So I just called you up and said,
Mhm.
okay, let's
Yeah.
go through this, Teresa. Uh, let's walk through this. But I do hold people accountable as well. We
Mhm.
literally just got off a coaching call 20 minutes ago, and there was a gentleman on there, incredibly nice gentleman, very sharp, and I kind of called him out because he was
Yeah.
jacking around for the last 3 weeks, just jacking around with CRMs. And I said, well, why? What that does nothing. He hadn't done the marketing that I asked him to do.
Mhm.
So, but holding people accountable, which I think we all need, and I think accountability is a part of the
Good thing. Right.
coaching and mentoring to say, did you do this? Why did
Mhm.
you do this? Uh, and uh, and and take responsibility if you're not doing what the coach or the mentor is
Yeah.
asking you to do. Now, Meredith, I know you've been through different educational and
Mhm.
coaching programs, etc. And which, by the way, you just did a phenomenal, amazing, beautiful testimonial for us. But uh, what with what you've experienced before, and there's some phenomenal coaching out there. I want to make that very clear to everybody. There's some phenomenal coaching and mentorship out there. Um, but I just think in general, the real estate coaching and mentorships that are out there, so many of them are just very unfulfilling. They don't give people maybe the tools they need, or the push they need, or the drive they need, or the support or accessibility that they need.
Mhm.
So Meredith, kind of talking on that a little bit, what
Sure.
have you seen with the Dream Partner program compared to maybe some other coaching or training that you've taken in the past?
Totally different. I'm going to say your program is so incredibly, like, you can touch it. Like, if I need Joe, I just send a message through Slack, and eventually Joe will respond within 24 hours. Sometimes he'll respond sooner. Sometimes, if it's not a really an intense question, he'll take a little longer, but he's there.
Yep.
When we get on our calls, and like I had you call a seller because there
Mhm.
was an
Yeah.
issue, um, you got right on the phone with me the next day. No one does that.
Mhm.
No one does that. No one. I'm going to tell you, not one coach of mine has ever done that before. Um, you're just, it's like, it's a family.
Yeah.
And,
Sure.
and, and
Definitely.
when we get on our Zoom calls, it's like a family. We're all rooting for each
Mhm. Yeah.
other, and everybody has an opinion. Yeah, you shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't be working with that guy. Oh, well, okay, thank you. That's what they told me on my last.
Oh,
You shouldn't be working with him.
you mean a
Uh,
seller? You mean a seller?
yeah, a
Yeah,
seller.
yeah. I want to make clear. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
it was a seller
yeah, yeah.
that they were saying, no, he's just, he's not motivated enough. And I said, no, he is. And they go, no, he's not, and I'm like, okay. But it's really good. I love the opinions. I love the push. I love the conversation. Um, I think it's amazing when I have to put out, if I have a seller contract that I have to write and I send it up to you guys, it
Mhm.
gets reviewed. And
Mhm.
if there's something with it, Joe will correct me and say, no, this is the way that John wants it, to happen. And this is why. And he'll explain. No one's ever done that. This is so, like, oh my God, hands on.
Mhm.
You're right there. You're always right there. So I love it. That's why I joined. You remember I was hesitant.
Yeah.
I was working with someone else,
Mhm.
and then I took the leap and said,
Yep.
this is where I want to be.
Yeah, yeah. And when thank you so very, very much. And you're right. It is like a family. That's why, if I didn't care so much for you all, I wouldn't be jacking with you all and giving you all a hard time the way I do. But it is like a family. And even, and I know you all couldn't make it, but in July,
Mhm.
um, we had our mastermind in St. Pete, Florida, 2 days, absolutely amazing. It was on a scale of 1 to 10, it was like a 12. It even blew me away how we were able to dive into people's businesses and if necessary, call them out on some stuff. Hey, you're not doing this. You're not doing that.
Right.
There was the lady that was on the call on my training call just a little bit ago, Erica. Her and her husband were there, and I started getting into their stuff about, hey, he's not on board. In other words, which is okay. This isn't his thing. You need to stop dragging him along. He needs to go. Real estate's not his thing, so you need to focus on it. And so just diving into that, having that mastermind like we had in St. Pete, and diving that deep and being that raw on individuals' businesses and what they're thinking, what they're doing, it allows them to then grow exponentially from there. Because until they become honest and transparent, they're just not going to be able to grow like they need to. So our next mastermind is at the end of February. I don't know the location yet, so I'm really, really hoping that you two can make it.
We'll be
I,
there.
I love the beach. I love the beach, but I know
Yeah.
Florida can be a little bit of a flight for some people. But where else are you going to go in February?
And John, can I add something to what Meredith said when she talked about people giving opinions? I said that's the beauty of our Zoom calls. You're not looking for yes people. It's a very comfortable atmosphere and environment where you can say what you feel. You can have an opinion that may not be what everybody else is thinking, but you never feel wrong. You never feel judged. You'll have people help you work it through it. And I think it's a very safe environment where a lot of times when you're on coaching calls, it doesn't feel that safe. And going back to some of the other gurus, they have such a large, like, company that you never get coached by the owner of the company.
Mhm.
And they've got so many coaches that have to have so many students that you're lucky if you get any amount of time with them at all. And it's usually they're trying to get you off the phone because they've got somebody else. I never feel rushed, whether you call me directly, John, or whether you're answering back and forth with emails. If I have another question, you answer it right away. That's the kind of feeling and what you project that other people do not. So,
Well, I appreciate that, and I really do, Teresa. And we've changed. We've had to adapt and change how we do the coaching over the last couple of years, and I think we've really got it dialed in. And what we
mhm.
have
Yeah.
coming up, we're even making some more changes to it, which I don't know that Joe is horribly sick today. I don't think it was
Yeah.
COVID. I think it was just
Ah,
sinus and stuff. So he. I have to anticipate, I have to assume that all of his coaching students don't know some of the changes we're going to make.
Mhm.
But it's about being even more available. So, for example, whereas right now, we got away for the most part from the one-on-one coach. The reason is because it seemed like a great idea in theory, one-on-one coaching. But when you implement it, when you try to actually do one-on-one coaching, what you find is that singular student is always willing to do as little as possible. Whereas when you bring them into a group of, even if it's 3 or 4 people, then suddenly they kind of have no choice but to either take action or they're going to be left behind, right? Again, just like the power of a mastermind, you're going to, everybody's going to raise you. So we've shifted now the coaching for the students that Joe works with to, like, say, maybe 3 people, small group coaching. There's still some individual coaching that goes on, but trying to bring that into smaller groups. Well, now moving forward, which this will start taking place next week, I believe, is Joe is going to have he's going to be coaching every day, twice a day. And so
Wow.
anytime twice
Wow.
a day that you need coaching, in other words, you could talk to Joe 10 times a week because he's going to have two spots a week, Monday through Friday. I believe from like, I'm going with Central Times, I think from like 10 to noon Central Time and then like 4 to 6. It may be 10 to 1. But anyway, the point is you've got multiple opportunities, you got a couple opportunities each day to jump onto Slack or Zoom, whatever the platform is, to bring a lead. So you're not having to wait a week to talk to Joe or whatever. So it's going to be, you're going to have access to a live coaching call with Joe twice a day. So we think that's going to be huge.
Amazing.
Yeah. So, and I don't think anybody else is doing that, but that also helps with if someone's on the West Coast or the East Coast. Maybe the morning time is better for them, or maybe the late afternoon. It just depends. So we're going to be implementing that starting next week. I believe we were going to be making the transition this week, but now Joe is sick, so it may be delayed a day. But anyway, the whole point is to give the students even more and more support and accessibility, because we realize that you're working the program, you're talking to sellers, you're sending the price sheets. You may have a seller that wants to talk today, and maybe your coaching call isn't till tomorrow or for 2 days. Well, now okay, you know what, in about an hour Joe's going to be on a coaching call on Slack or Zoom, and you can just jump on board and go, hey, I got a seller to talk to, right? So anyway, we're really excited about that, and I'm also excited about the next mastermind in February. But
Awesome.
so
Can't wait to hear it.
yeah,
John, just so you know, before this class started, when you were starting your earlier Facebook masterclass, I did listen actually for half an hour. So I knew about that seller.
oh yeah,
I set up 5 campaigns while you were talking.
is that right?
And now I'm getting messages on my phone. Text messages are coming through. I have
Wow.
one yes now. That may not be a big deal to everyone, but let me tell you, one yes out of maybe 100, it's okay to get a yes. Instead of fighting with people saying, oh, this is a scam, this is
Right.
this is this, and responding to some stupid stuff. But it's so exciting. So you don't need all day to run these campaigns. You
No.
can run them and do them and start responding to them at any time of the day that you want to, and you get involved. I promise you. You get so involved. You're so into it. It's great. I love it.
I love it. I love the excitement you've got there. I'm glad you got a yes. I'm glad you're doing
I got
campaigns.
one yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, one yes. But that was just through that simple text. Will you, blah, blah, blah. And they said yes. And I'm like, really? Okay.
I love it. I love it. So yeah, so you got to talk to Joe about. Hopefully, Joe's feeling better
Hopefully tomorrow.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do now, and again, thank you both, Meredith and Teresa. So stay on with me here. I'm not done with y'all yet. What I'm going to do is I'm going to call this seller. Let me see here.
Thank you. I just got a fist bump. Wait.
Oh, no, was that from Teresa? Oh, you got a fist bump from Sharon. Okay, I just saw it. Okay.
I can't see anything.
You got to look in the. Okay, so I'm going to make a phone call now. So I'm going to on my phone. I'm going to get off that. So I'm going to call. So again, to set the stage for everybody. Again, the seller called me this morning. And had gotten one of my postcards in the mail. His house has been on the market for almost 5 months now. It's been vacant. He lives in Virginia. The house is in Houston. To show you, before I call the seller again, so I sent him email number 1, email number 2 on today's call. So what I'm going to do here is pull up. I'm going to share this screen. So there's the house right there. And I know it'll take just a little bit for it to show up on y'all's end.
I can't see a thing.
So there's the house right there. Okay, I may have to. Did I not hit the right button? Stop sharing. Let me try this. Oh, with Restream, I've got to hit like 5 buttons. Okay, window, Safari, share. Then I got to go back over here. It's like, are you sure you want to share? Yes. There we go. All right, so there's the house, 10206 Briar Forest. So I sent him some preliminary numbers this morning, and I'm going to call this seller. His name is Chris. He now lives in Virginia, and he may or may not have seen the email yet. But let me close this door. All right, so I'm going to call this seller, and we'll see. You get to hear this conversation goes.
Chris Kern.
Hi, Chris. Good evening. This is John Jackson. Just following up with you about your property there on Briar Forest. I sent you just some preliminary numbers today to take a look at, just to kind of give you an idea of what it would look like for you financially on that property. Just didn't know if you had a chance to take a look at that email or not. Give me a shout anytime, whether it be this evening or tomorrow. I can answer any questions you have. 817 980 0068 817-980-0068. Thank you. All right, so I left a message for him. I was hoping to get a hold of him. Of course, the next step is I've sent him email number 1. I sent him email number 2. The next step is then to see if he has any questions. And typically, with someone like this, where the house has been vacant for a while, they're more motivated, right? And typically the first question is, say, hey, did you get the seller price sheet? Those are just always say preliminary. It kind of sets the tone that, hey, these are not stuck in stone, but just kind of gives them an idea of how the numbers come together. So I'll ask, did you get the preliminary numbers? Have a chance to take a look at those, see if you have any questions. Typically, the first question, the seller will say something very close to, yeah, I did. I had a chance to kind of go over them just a little bit here. So now with your program, how fast can you find somebody? That's simply what they'll say. With your program, how fast can you find somebody? So again, what they're asking is how fast can you bring the fajitas, right? If you remember that analogy from earlier today, the seller wants enchiladas and we have fajitas. So typically they're going to ask, the first question is, how fast can you bring the fajitas? That's the most common question. He may ask, okay, well, our listing expires in a month. How does that work with the agent? Which I actually already answered that question for him. But again, we'll see. He may call. Let me make sure my ringer's on. Yeah, he may call this evening, and then I'll talk to him about that. But that's a beautiful, beautiful home to put into our program, and he's certainly going to make a lot more. He's going to make more with us than he is with the real estate agent for sure. Especially on his cash flow on that. But nevertheless, unfortunately, didn't get him on the phone. Maybe it'll be tonight or tomorrow. So hopefully it's tomorrow, because my wife just got home from a very long trip to back places. So after this call, I've pinky promised my new wife that no work no work. So Teresa, don't call me.
Okay, John. I'll call you tomorrow.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, every morning, Meredith, I check I check text messages and emails. Inevitably, at 6 a.m., which is 7 a.m. Teresa's time, I've got an email with a question or whatever.
Well, I waited, John. I waited because I'm usually up by 5, so you're lucky.
Which is 4
5
a.m.
a.m.
Well, I get up at like 5:15 a.m. Central Time though for the gym. Anyway, so I'm excited to see what happens with this property because it's a great one for our program. So having said that, we're about done with this Coach's Corner, and let's see. Anybody here watching live, before we let Meredith and Teresa go, any questions you may have for them or for the Dream Partner program, anything like that? So I'm looking at see if there's any questions here.
One thing, John, if I may, that what you do that no other program has ever done is you will work with us to pay the cost of the Dream Partners. That is not done. Usually they'll do, okay, 50% now and 50% in a month. You'll work with us. And the thing that people need to know is that we get ready access to everything immediately. And that is unheard of. Usually you don't get access until you actually have paid for the course in full. So that's another thing that if somebody is hesitant about it, that's another option that they should understand is not like anything else.
And you're right. We do have different a couple different financing options for someone to come on board with the Dream program, and this I've been talking a little bit about yesterday, a little bit today, but later this week I'll unveil the Dream Partner program to everybody, and I'm doing something I've never ever offered before. And when I told my team what I was going to do, I think they were all like, "Did John start drinking again?" But it's a phenomenal offer that I'm put together. I actually put this offer together based on a book I just read called $100 Million Offer. $100 Million. Actually, here's the book by Alex Hermosi. Phenomenal book. If you have any product or service that you're selling, this is a phenomenal book. It has nothing to do with lease options, but after reading this book, I started texting the author. The author and I were texting each other, and I thought, you know what? I'm doing a masterclass this week. I'm doing a masterclass. I'm going to present the Dream Partner program, but I'm going to make an offer on the Dream Partner program I've never done before. I'm going to make it the most irresistible offer, so that people have no excuse not to pull the trigger. Which I'm not going to. I'm just teasing everybody right now. I'll unveil it Thursday. But it's a phenomenal offer that I'm excited about. So I know someone had just asked, and let me see, was it someone had just asked, Celian? I may be mispronouncing your name. I'm so sorry, Celian. He was asking how much, what's the cost of the Dream Partner program. I'm actually going to talk about that, saving that for Thursday. The reason is because you want to hear that offer, because it's actually unbelievable. But anyway, so super excited about this week. Again, Meredith, thank you so much. Teresa, thank you very, very, very much. Teresa, you've got you know exactly what your assignment is. It's to get the document signed. Don't worry about the outcome yet. You're still in this part of the process. Just get the contract signed, and we'll take it to the next step, okay?
All right.
All right. And then tomorrow, go ahead and get 3,000 earnest money, Teresa.
Right.
Okay? So
I'm going to text him tonight.
So tomorrow, Meredith, Teresa's getting her first deposit.
Yeah.
$3,000 out of 23. So, all right. Thank you so much, Meredith and Teresa. I love you so much.
Thank you, John.
And
bye, everyone.
Bye, Teresa.
Bye, Meredith. See you Thursday.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.